Hi and welcome back. We're visiting Chobe National Park and getting really overwhelmed by the number of animals. But to get there, we'll have to deal with some challenges at the Blue Landy. We stayed a couple of days around Malawi National Park. We enjoyed a lot camping in the bush, but it's the first time we had to be really careful about carnivores, which, based on the many tracks, are frequent visitors in this area.
We will leave this place and go towards Katima. We would like to be around there so we are able to upload the video. Here there's no really internet.
We want to cross to Botswana to get to Chobe National Park, but this will take us a bit longer than expected, as we encountered some challenges along the way.
We just took a side road and it goes inland, and it's passing a lot of fields from people, and they have this kind of protection. We are getting against elephants everywhere, but we thought it was on the side, but it was actually in the middle. Like, this t-shirt was not here, it was on the side. We could not see the wire, and we drove hard against it, so we scratched a bit the car. It's okay, we didn't break anything, the windscreen is okay, but the car has now some damage.
You know those days where you either started on the wrong foot or you have a debt with karma? This day was one of those.
We finally found a place where we can get those grits against seeds. So just put one, we'll put it next time we are going to the bush. We also balanced the tires, again rebalance them, because they were doing a lot of problems, and while Kai was reversing, he just went against a post and just broke two lights on this side. But Kai took some lights from home, the original lights from this car. Yeah, it's not as bright as it was before because the cover is not for LED, but yeah, better than nothing.
We headed back to Keith in Katima to try to fix the car. The main issue was that we had play in the wheel bearing, which most probably was due to a damaged stub axle. Sadly, we could not get a part in Katima.
We were worn out wheel bearing, and we were just discussing with Keith, and he says we should just tighten it to get a little bit more mileage out of it until we get a new one in Windhoek.
It doesn't look very good. The thread is worn out.
Might just try.
Still.
Might just try some. If it doesn't come right, a little bit of grinding paste. Eh?
Tiny little bit.
Tiny little bit. You want to give it a little bit more.
Just try it with this one. 2, 10.
Okay, this
Yeah.
is it. No, that's
That's
fine.
good.
Eh? Wheel off.
The brake pads in the back are gone. Need to do them soon. I do.
The next day, we were ready to cross to a new country. Don't worry, we will come back to Namibia soon.
We're at the border between Namibia and Botswana. Today is Bilharzia pill day, so we're taking pills at the border.
They say they have really side effects. We really are not looking forward to them. But yeah. Better that than parasites.
The border crossing was smooth. The only thing is that they check for meat products to avoid spreading foot and mouth disease between countries.
No.
No.
Morning.
Morning.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm okay. Let's have a look at the back.
Yes.
How far is it?
Like cheese, butter.
Welcome to Botswana! We crossed to Botswana and we are in Chobe National Park. We are going to do the famous riverfront, which has apparently some of the best game drives in this area and at this moment. So, let's go! Chobe National Park, one of the most famous parks in Africa, and for good reasons. The incredible diverse ecosystems and landscapes, from woodlands to floodplains and swamps. It's just a paradise, especially around Chobe River, which congregates animals year-round. So even in the wet season, we get to spot animals, and in big numbers. We are really fascinated. Hundreds of buffalo hiding in the shade of the bushes.
Yes, they're everywhere.
"30 to 40 giraffes walking around and not being bothered at all, allowing us to see close up and distinguish the scars of past fights. Or the satisfaction of a good meal. Overall feels just so perfectly in sync, in harmony. The stars of this park are without a doubt the elephants. The park holds one of the largest concentrations of elephant in Africa. And they're used to cars, so they get really close. They might be used to it, but we are not, and we were holding our breaths the whole time. We see a lot of elephants in the distance. We are getting a bit closer. We had explored the whole park up to Kasane, and were going slowly back when we spotted something extraordinary. First we saw the vultures, but then...
The lions.
What's happening? Two young lions, already fed and satisfied with their last meal, guarding their catch from at least 10 Crocs pulling the giraffe to the water. Between 20 and 30 giraffes just in this small place. It's so beautiful at the moment, the light and everything, but we have less than 40 minutes to leave the park. It's a struggle, it's a real struggle. We drove at least 1 hour to get closer to the next gate. Driving at night is not the best, especially after such a tiring day. So when we saw the sign, it gave us the right motivation to tackle the last stretch.
After we arrived late yesterday and we were both destroyed from the bilharzia pills, we slept a little bit longer this morning and we will hit the road towards the gate to drive into the park and then cross Chobe today. We just fitted the new seat net that we got. I assume we will not need it now that we have it, but better safe than sorry.
Our wheel carrier is getting into pieces after the accident in Saudi Arabia. He's putting a strap to hold the tire a bit better because the normal supports are already super weak, they have cracks. If we leave it like that, most probably will crack completely and we will lose the spare tire. We are just going to take the path to Goha Gate. Just a note, I was checking around which animals move around here. And look at this.
This part of the park is very different. It is really sandy. And around Savuti, one can get lost in some of the most beautiful grasslands. Sometimes difficult to spot, other times just obvious. This area holds water, which attracts many species of birds. And the natural predators. And of course the baobabs. These centenarians are incredible. It feels just right to stop and chill in the shade of such majestic trees.
There are two beehives in the tree. One is up, one is down. And what I assume what's happening is that the upper hive steals honey from the hive below, because there's nothing here flowering, so they don't find food. And so the one hive is stealing honey from the other hive.
It's just incredible how many zebras there are here.
We need to continue south. We found this part of the park the least attractive. Due to sand, one needs to keep up the pace, which makes it impossible to see anything around. But it leads to one of our favorite areas, the Mababe Depression. Not only there are many animals around, but the landscape opens and the grasslands are endless here.
We decided to leave it a bit earlier. We were hoping that we would see some lions, maybe some wild dogs around the Mababe area in the south of Chobe, but we didn't see anything and we were losing a bit of the motivation and decided to leave the park. We are at our camp spot and having some dinner. And we had to be really fast because we were hearing what we think it was a lion or a leopard around the car. And that's pretty scary when it's completely dark, pitch black outside.
Thank you for watching. In the next episode, we will continue towards the Okavango Delta. Until then, enjoy the ride.